everyone, Mr. Nacho here, and welcome to yet another episode of Remnant 2 is Broken, where we showcase all of the glitches, unintended and intended interactions, bugs, and whatnot. Have you ever thought to yourself, man, I wish I could use a fully automatic range gun that was explosive, but it didn't do any real range damage, but it was mod focused, and it had infinite ammo, and it had some explosion damage, and this explosion damage was causing a lot of unintended interactions, and it also had a hidden passive, and also you could run around the boss arena like a headless chicken and everything would still explode, yet you would not damage yourself and you would lifesteal all the time and you would deal great damage. I know that a lot of people have asked themselves this question, and today I'm happy to provide you with an answer to this question, which is this exact build. There are a few things to focus on here. First of all, this build was made by a guy called Hiccup251. He is a member of our Discord, which I will link down below. If you are interested in any of the weird build crafting and discussing all of the interactions that can occur, what's good, what's bad, and what's weird like this one, then I would highly invite you to come and join us, especially that the DLC 2 is on the way. So there will be way more unintended stuff that, well, this would be the best place to find out about it. So once again, link will be in the description. Just go there. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, we'll focus on Anguish today, which is, well, the gun itself had a lot of changes done to it. But right now, first of all, let's focus on the thing that it doesn't say, which is that it does increased damage the lower the enemy's health is. So the DPS test that you would do on, let's say, the dummies will not be accurate because the dummies are always at 100% HP. First thing, it just does more damage the lower the enemy HP is. Then it actually benefits from mod damage because it's a mod, and then it explodes, so it also benefits from the explosive damage. So who better to test this on than Summoner, because it gives you both the mod damage and the explosive damage, but it doesn't really give you the intended amount of explosive damage. It actually gives you more for whatever reason, so you can't really trust the tooltip. You will actually just be doing more damage than intended this way. Also, Archon boosts your mod damage, great, why not? Also gives you crit chance, and the explosions can crit, and then the explosion can also give you lifesteal for whatever reason. So this build has it all. It's not written anywhere, it's just the way it is. So basically, Anguish just benefits way more from the bonuses to explosive damage than anything else. So things like the detonation trigger will give it more than 25% damage, and the blasting cap will give it more than 10% damage. And also Summoner passive will give you more than the stated 35% increase to damage, which is all great, fun and dandy. I will just showcase the build itself and the capabilities of it and what it does, because this is actually very powerful. So just see, as I was running around the boss arena like a headless chicken, being hit by everything that was there and just disappearing the boss's health. It's just the way it is. I don't think that it was intended, but it works great. Alright, so this is how the build does. It's both the Remnant 2 is Broken and build showcase and community spotlight in one, so you're welcome. Also use Remnant 2 toolkit as much as possible, great stuff there. Have you ever actually used Transpose? There are two things about it. One thing is that it does different things based on the weapon that you put it on, which, well, doesn't really make sense, but okay. The first thing it says is picking up ammo increases range damage by 20%, and this is fun, this is okay, this is great, but it doesn't change, and it's not why we are here. It's the level 10 perk that says ammo pickups are added directly to this weapon's magazine. So if we actually equip it on, let's say, our bulldog that has a capacity of its magazine of 12, so it can hold 12 rounds before it needs to reload again. And then we also change our amulet and go with, well, the Void Idol, something you don't really use anyway, but, well, here it is. It just says that it increases the reload speed by 20%. Again, very, very fun, not really interesting to us. Reloads only require 50% of magazine's capacity from reserves to fully reload. And right now we are getting into some unintended interaction territory, which is whenever we fire those 12 rounds, and reload. Right now, this is working fine, because as you can see, we are in the shooting range and we have infinite ammo. But whenever we just go out and we shoot the same exact 12 rounds, our reload gives us 39 rounds in the chamber right now, for whatever reason. And it can scale with different weapons. You can have, let's say, a multi-shot Spore Bloom, because why not? As you can see, we will get 2 shots in the Spore Bloom this way. So we can go bam bam, new bandit, OP meta, let's go. This doesn't happen, however, for things like the crossbow. The mutator itself says level 10 ammo pickups are added directly to this weapon's magazine, but whenever you actually equip it, it says picking up ammo grants this weapon infinite reserves for 15 seconds. So whenever we reload, we don't really get this on the weapon. We can't load 2 bolts in this for whatever reason, and it's because Transpose has different passive based on the weapon it is slotted into, so there you go. So this is actually a very fun and powerful interaction, because you can also do it with something like the coach gun. So whenever we do the same with coach gun, you get 3 rounds this time, and whenever we fire those, you get 17 rounds this time, and you can scale it up and just go above and beyond and have like a, I don't know, 100 round coach gun and just run around killing everything without having to reload, which is one of the more annoying downsides to things like, let's say, the repulsor. So if you want to have a very, very powerful repulsor, just use Transpose on it, so you don't have to suffer through this animation very much. Now we have 15 rounds, and if we get rid of those, we get even more, so it will just keep scaling up. Very, very fun, not intended in any way. I'm not sure that this is a high priority and will be addressed anytime soon, so have fun with it. Alright, the next thing that I wanted to showcase is that unstoppable doesn't really mean what you think it means. Unstoppable on bosses, at least on this one, doesn't really mean much at all, because first of all, we can just abuse this bug. Bug, the blue one, I mean, not the interaction of the code in the game, just literally just a blue small bug running around. We can just abuse him by just freezing him with the stasis beam, which is one thing, even though it has unstoppable. And if he's trying to run away and he's on the wall, you can just use Song of Aether to actually knock him back down, freeze him again, and just knock him back down, and just keep repeating until he's dead. So this is a very fun way of dealing with him. So let me just show you a quick clip of abusing the blue bug. Hope you enjoy. Next thing I wanted to showcase is an interaction with a mod that's not very popular. It's called the Voltaic Ranger. I hope that I pronounced it correctly, and if I didn't, then too bad. So basically, if you ever thought, man, I wish the tremor that I put right here could damage someone that is right there, then this is your lucky day. You can just use the Voltaic, and then you can attach mods to it. So this would look something like this. As you can see, it's being carried with the Voltaic for whatever reason, and it will just keep traveling. You can enhance this effect by using the mod duration, and you can just keep hammering the mod spam of traveling tremors. You're welcome. Let's just show it one more time. Yeah, as you can see, even with the animation, it's clearly moving with the Voltaic and dealing damage along the way. So this is actually great for, well, room clears, really. But it's just a fun interaction. I don't think it was intended, but that's how it is. Also, if you want to go fully electric damage, then you can see the interaction between the Voltaic and the Enigma. It will actually just take the pin with it, and wherever it travels, it will actually just keep damaging the enemy because the pin is in it. And it will create the connections as long as it's close enough to the other pin. Now let's get into something very, very interesting that was in the game probably from day one. It's just that no one noticed because, well, why would they? And how would they? Because no one really is looking at the numbers. And the pretty lights are just the visual effects, right? Well, not really. Let's see what Mick1135, again on our Discord in the build channel, has discovered. All right, so the next thing is actually related to overload and how it works. We will be testing it on Krelax with no mutator, no class that increases our all or elemental damage, and the only ring we will have is Timekeeper's Jewel, so that we will actually have more time to observe what's happening. First thing is that the Krelax says whenever you actually use a charged melee, it will throw an axe and apply overloaded on hit, dealing 150 shock damage every 5 seconds for 20 seconds. There is no mention of the AoE that it creates. There is no mention of the interaction if there are multiple enemies overloaded or shocked near each other. So let's test it and see how it works. So if we throw the axe at one dummy, you can see it did 259 damage, but the explosion is 150, exactly what the tooltip says. 150 damage every 5 seconds for 20 seconds. And also, as you can see, this dummy is the only dummy that is being damaged. This one is extremely close to it, but it's not taking any damage from the explosion. However, if we apply overloaded to this dummy and also this dummy, there is a tether connecting them at the moment. There are a few things happening. First of all, the explosion went from 150 to 165, which is an increase in damage simply because there are two enemies in proximity that have the same status effect, which is the overloaded effect. And also it clearly increased the explosion size because right now this dummy is also taking damage. It's 165 damage. So let's see what happens if we apply it to all three dummies at the same time. This one is taking 165, but this time it's 180 damage. I assume that this is because the middle dummy is connected to two units that have the overloaded effect on them, which is the dummy number 3 and dummy number 1. But the other dummies and their explosions deal 165 damage because they are only connected or close enough to only one dummy that has the overloaded effect, which is dummy number 2. If we apply it to this one as well, Then as you can see, this guy is getting 180, this one is getting 180, but the first one is only getting 165. So the more enemies that are in proximity having the overloaded status on them, the more damage every single proc of overload will do. The last thing that I wanted to mention is actually regarding Monarch, which has a pretty unique mod on it called the Chain of Command. Whenever we actually equip it, and let's say go with something like the Bullet Weaver, which will grant us bonus mod generation for this weapon. And we also have the Cataloger's Jewel and the Archon as our primary, so we should be getting passively some mod power for the Chain of Command. We can actually fill out the entire bar passively without doing anything. As you can see, it's increasing all the time, and then we will be able to actually trigger it just by shooting a single bullet. So you can run around just having it permanently active at all times. And as you can see, right now it's recharging for us as well. So even during the usage of it, you are still able to get it back. Unfortunately, this is only because we have Archon primary equipped, which doesn't give us any ranged damage. The mod for the Monarch doesn't really benefit from mod damage, but this is a curious interaction nonetheless, and this will be the last interaction that we have today for our video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any other interactions that you'd like me to mention, showcase, or test, then please do let me know in the comments below. I'm always looking for more ideas and things that are broken about Remnant for the next video, so feel free to hit me up either in the comments below or in the Remnant 2 Discord. I'm always replying to DMs, so feel free to contact me there. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and as always, have a great day.